Carl, how's it going?
Real good, good. Thanks for having me over this morning.
Yep,
John.
yep, yep. I just want to thank you real quick for taking me yesterday to see these homes. To help me make my decision, and I think we got a little something going here. I really like this house on Country Knoll, and just I wanted to have you here today so we can discuss on what I have to do to purchase this house right here.
Okay, that's good, John. I know you called me last night. You said you had some interest in it. I did a little preliminary work on it to try to help you, come up with, what do we need to do to buy this home, try to be successful in it. So I'm going to need to ask you some questions to see what your comfort level is on different things that you're going to need to do if we hopefully can purchase the home.
Sounds good.
Okay? So the first thing is this. As you know, we walked through the home. The home needs some updating. So the first question I'm going to ask you is this. Are you comfortable knowing that when you move in, you're probably going to need to spend maybe $20,000, $25,000, $30,000, maybe not instantly, but probably within the first year or two to go ahead and kind of bring this up to speed to where most of the other ones that are out there?
That's one thing that was a big thing in my head to think about, especially with this house. But, after looking at the area and just the way the house in general, I really do think I'm comfortable doing that.
Okay.
I think I'm going to be comfortable putting some extra money into it and making the house look a little bit nicer. You get a better return on investment later, and I think it's a good idea.
I think that you got the right idea. Know this, as we discussed when we walked through, the bones of the house are great. The house was built in like 1990. I said everything in it is solid, but basically it sits there as it looked in 1990.
Right.
I said, but everything wasn't beat up, wasn't lived in hard. It was older people that lived in there. So you don't have to worry about that. But just know this, the kitchen's 30 years old. Everything in there, the carpeting is older. The window treatments are older, things like that. But the structure of it, and you can literally move in there and live in there right now the way it sits.
Right.
But I know this, you're a young fella. You know what? You don't like a house per se that is 30 years old. You want to bring it up to what happens in the 2021, not 1990.
Exactly.
So, the gold faucets aren't in style anymore.
Right.
So, but you can live with gold faucets. They still work. They work as good as the ones that are made out of, satin nickel and all that other stuff, but they're out of style.
Right.
So you're good with that. Okay, I've done a little bit of work on this. So I'm going to talk to you now a little bit about our market, which we discussed before, and where do we need to go with this pricing. So, first thing, just quickly, I'll show you. Here is like our public records on the house. It shows you how big it is and whatnot. All the different parameters on it. Kind of the same thing that you have in here. Tells me what the taxes are, etc.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So then what I did is I pulled similar homes in the neighborhood, and what are they going for? So here's what I basically have here. If you look at this sheet here, we have 3 homes that are pretty identical to them. This home is 2,700 square feet. If you notice these 3 homes, they're all 2,700 square feet. 2 of them are on the same street. One's around the corner. So what are they sold for? $395,000, $413,000, and $419,000. So you think like, boy, this one here is listed at $355,000. What a great deal. All right, so I know this. The agent actually priced it probably pretty appropriately. These homes here are all, I've looked at the inside of them. They've all been updated. So, and you can see that the updated ones are selling somewhere between $400 and $420, depending on how updated they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this one here is probably priced somewhere about $40,000 below the next lowest one, so because of the updating that needs to be updated throughout. So now, what do we need to bid on it? Should we bid just list price or what? So it's been on the market, as you know. We went in there actually the first day it got listed. All right. So,
Okay.
So know this. The way our market is working right now, homes that look like they're priced right, you thought it was a great price, right? You're not the only person out there that thinks it looks like
Exactly.
a great price,
There's
right?
competition.
That's right.
Right.
So on the first day, we always kind of tell our buyers this. This is not the price. This is the starting price.
Right.
Probably other people are going to bid on this the way our market is right now. We're low on inventory of homes. There's lots of buyers out there. This home probably had 20, 25 showings in the first 2 days it was out there.
Right. Gotcha.
So there's probably 3, 4 offers, maybe even 5 that people are going to write offers on it.
Right.
So Number one, what do we need to do to make our offer stronger?
That's my next question. If beyond price,
Right.
is there something
We're
to be
probably,
able to do?
realistically, you're going to have to offer more than 355. How much more?
Kind of expected that
Right.
a little bit,
Yeah.
the way you're going here.
How much
for
more?
sure.
So some things to understand is this. Typically, homes that sell in the first few days, they sell between 5 and 10% over what the actual list price is. So, 10% over on this one means that we're basically looking at something about 35,000 over. 5% is somewhere around 20-ish thousand over.
Okay. Gotcha,
So,
gotcha.
so anyway, it's going to fall somewhere in there, and I'm sure it will. That's just kind of the way our history is. So number one is you have to know this. Are you comfortable spending somewhere at least 5 to 10% over the list price? Or we're looking at somewhere maybe about 375 to, let's say, 400,000. I'm just asking that number.
Yeah.
400 is probably
so
too high. 375 is probably too low, to be honest with you.
with the way the market is going right now, and the way I'm seeing some other places sell for, and I talking over with my wife and stuff like that, I think we were gonna maybe potentially be okay with going beyond $400,000
Yeah.
at one point, but if you can get a house that you like that's less than that, which is what we kind of see here, we want to go for that too. So I do think we'd be okay going up to
Yeah.
around $400,000 for a house like this.
Yeah, so I'm thinking this, looking at this one compared to this one over here that sold for 395 or roughly 400. Probably it's going to cost you. Now, if you do some of the work on yourself, you save money, but probably you're looking at something that's going to cost you close to about $40-ish thousand to bring it up to like this 395 level.
Right, to the
Right?
lowest. Yeah,
Yeah, if you hired a
lowest
contractor in
ones.
that. So,
Right, okay.
and by the way, the nice thing about it is then you get it your way. You could buy this one here for 400. It's not going to be exactly the way you like it. It'll be very nice, but it'll be the way the seller rather, made it to their liking, not 100% to your liking. So
Right.
there's some advantage there. So, and know this, for every $1,000 that you borrow per month, it costs you $5. So if you borrow 100,000, it's $500, right? If you borrow 200,000, it's $1,000 a month just for the mortgage.
Right. Okay.
It's about 5. It's probably now really less. It's between 4 and 5. But anyway, figure $5. So in essence, you're probably going in there and saying, hey, I can buy this for $350. I'm going to put 20% down on that. But now if you got to pay maybe an extra $30,000 more times 5, it's going to cost you $150 a month more than maybe you thought. Are you willing? Are you comfortable paying $150 as your pocketbook? I know your pre-approval shows that.
Right. Yeah.
So I just want to talk to you price first. If we're out of the ballgame in price, we don't need to talk about anything else to make it stronger.
Right. Yeah, I think I am comfortable doing that
Okay.
for sure.
All right.
Especially just this house. I really like the house. I really like what I feel like I can do with it. So that's why I'm more inclined to do something like that for this house.
So there's a lot of things besides price that make a offer stronger, right? So number one, we got price. So it sounds like you're on board with that. Number two is the mortgage company you're going to use. Now, you actually were pre-approved by Sam Rita with a guaranteed rate mortgage. Now, luckily for us, we're dealing with real estate agents on the other side. We all know Sam. Sam is a very, very strong lender. That literally will make, if everything is the same and you have Sam, your offer will be stronger than the other guy that's using maybe like, Rocket Mortgage or somebody that we don't know.
Right.
So that's good.
Guy.
You still want to use Sam, correct?
I do want to use Sam.
Yeah, you liked what you
I
heard
did.
from me.
I like, especially,
Okay.
you referred me to him at the beginning. I was with Quicken Loans before
Right.
this, and you just said you can get approved with my guy. I think your
Yep.
track record is going to speak
Okay.
for itself there. I like Sam Rita.
So that's great. So the other thing is that we try to remove contingencies, right? So contingencies are, I'll buy the home unless this happens. That's a contingency, right? So what's the first contingency is, all right, private inspection. You can elect to do a private inspection. You have basically a week to get them in there, all right? Inspector will go through the home. He'll look at it. It's a visual inspection only. He doesn't take anything apart. He's going to probably charge you on a home like this, probably close to $500. You're going to spend about 3 hours in there. He's going to go through the home and tell you some of the issues. There could be some major issues. There could be some minor issues. But at the end of the day, he's going to go through and explain everything to you. Now, in our industry, know this. Private inspections, when you write an offer right away, and probably somebody's going to write one. There's going to be one or two of these will write one. They're not going to do a private inspection, which really makes their offer stronger because there's no, if you do a private inspection and you don't like the home after the private inspection, you can tell the seller, I don't want to buy the home anymore. So we call it a big get out of jail card,
Right.
right? So it really weakens your offer though. If somebody else writes something without a private inspection, they'll probably take a little bit less money because there's no get out of jail card for that buyer.
Right. Exactly.
But there's risk on your part.
Right.
The risk is, hey, am I buying a home that's going to cost me $1 zillion because there's all kinds of problems? So
Exactly.
you have to feel comfortable. Now, we went through the home, just myself, my own visual. I've owned homes for 50 years. I'm fairly sharp on knowing what it is, but I'm not a private inspector. But we kind of talked, looked like the foundation is good. We could see there's been no leaking in the basement, and that's where the big costs are. We kind of know the ages of things. We talked about the furnace. We talked about the roof and that, how old the windows are. So what do we have? We have older windows that you're probably going to need to replace within 5 years. The roof, interestingly, has probably been replaced only about 10 years ago. You probably got another 10, 15 years left on the roof. So we talked about some of those bigger things. The question is, are you comfortable purchasing a home without a private inspection?
I am,
Okay.
especially with you said there's multiple offers here. So
Right.
that makes me think someone's going to write an offer without
Right.
a private inspection, and even price, they could ace me out just a little bit.
Okay.
So I
Right.
think it's a good
We
idea.
don't normally recommend that. That's why I said there's risk involved on your part.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm willing to take that risk, especially. I mean, you did tell me what I like to like this aspect that hey, it's an older house, but you're gonna go in there and everything's gonna work.
Yeah.
So
Basically, the house is 30 years old. It's not that old.
It's not that. It's the older styles and out of styles.
Right. Exactly. It's mostly cosmetic. What it looks like.
Exactly.
You don't know. The private inspector dig up something big. I don't see it, but he could. So I just want to warn you on that.
Okay. Yeah. And, I'm
So
willing to take that risk.
The last basic big contingency is appraisal. So you're doing a mortgage. I know you said you're going to put 20% down, which is strong, right? But the house is listed at $350,000. If we're going to go over that, there's a chance that a bank doesn't live around here, I always say, right? So the bank does have no idea what this home is worth. There's an independent person coming in, he's an appraiser. He's going to determine to the bank, yes, this home is worth this amount of money, and you should loan money based on the value of the home.
Right.
So if we bid, let's just say 20, 30,000 over, the appraiser might look and say, you know what, this home, it's probably not worth that much. Now,
my loan's only going to count for
if it
that.
does not appraise for that amount, you can get out of the deal, right?
Right.
And you get your deposit back in the sellers. So a lot of people, what they're doing today is they're actually saying that I will cover an appraisal shortage. So let's say the home, the appraiser appraises it for $355,000, but let's say bid $375,000. If you guarantee that, means that at closing, you would bring in $20,000 more down payment to cover that shortage of appraisal. So I know that you have 20%. You said that you have some extra money. Are you willing to cover that $20,000 appraisal shortage if we bid $375,000?
I am willing. I do have the means to do that.
Okay.
So, yes.
All right. So
we can do it with an appraisal.
all right. So it sounds like you're on board with basically getting rid of the contingencies.
Mm-hmm.
So probably the one thing, if we write an offer, we're doing a mortgage, we have no private inspection, we have an appraisal guarantee, that's about as strong as you can get with a mortgage. Now, if somebody writes a cash offer, basically with maybe even a little less money than we have, it'll probably beat us out.
Right.
So if we're way over, yeah, we'd probably still get it. But there always is, at the end of the day, when you do a mortgage, you may, even though we got a pre-approval, something could change. Hey, you get laid off.
Right.
So
Exactly.
you don't qualify anymore, right? Let's say that you do something stupid and you buy a new car in the middle of it. Now you got a new car payment of $500 a month. The mortgage company is going to do a credit check on you before to make sure nothing in your credit history has changed from the time you were pre-approved to the time we get ready to close.
Exactly. Okay.
They guarantee your employment. They verify that you're still employed. They verify that your debt load is the same. So if you do something dumb, they're not going to qualify you at the end. They're going to deny your mortgage. And guess what? You actually get your deposit back, and the seller is stuck putting the house back on the market.
Gotcha.
So that's why the cash is better. There is none of that.
There's
so,
right, yeah. The cash
so cash is king.
Right.
But basically, what you can afford, you don't have enough cash to pay, the full cash
the whole
out.
thing, right.
So if you're good with that, here's my suggestion. We probably need to go at least 5% over that, which is $15,000 roughly. We're at 355. I would say go a little bit more, probably not 10. 10 would put us near 400. But I'd say, if we bid somewhere around, I'd say 375, 380, I think you got a very, very good chance, particularly with removing all of those contingencies.
Okay.
If you're good with that, we can go ahead and write that up. I think you got a pretty fair chance. I would say probably more than 50-50 that you have a chance of getting it.
Okay. I like the 380. I really like this house.
If you like it.
And I do have the means to offer for 380.
Okay.
With
you're going to bring in $25,000 extra if it doesn't appraise.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
I'll give it. Yep, I'm gonna bring in that. I was actually had a little bit more to do for the appraisal guarantee, but I think in this situation, with the appraisal guarantee up to $25,000 probably the smartest thing to do in terms of you never want to go way too over, then you're stuck with a really bad.
No,
investment.
that's fine.
So I think why don't we do it? Why don't we put an offer on the house for $380,000?
Okay, let's do that. What I'll do is I'll get all the paperwork prepared here. I can have you e-sign them.
Okay.
Right, so I'll go back to my office. I'll write everything up. I'll get it prepared, probably taking about an hour to get everything. I'll send it over to you by email, and I'll let you know that it's there. You can go ahead and e-sign everything, get it back to me, and I will send it over to the agent, and we'll find out probably within a day or two whether they accept it or offer or not. You go with that?
That's cool with me.
Okay.
Carl, I just want to thank you a lot. This was made this process really, really easy.
Well, it's not easy, but let's say hopefully I made it easier.
Easier for sure. Yeah.
Good. Okay, John. Well, let's do that, and I'll let you know as soon as I get everything done. I'll give you a buzz and let you know that it's on its way. Look for the email.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Take it easy.
Thank you.
Yep.